Welcome back to Wake Up America Weekend. Now, concerns over political fitness for office once again in the headlines this week, leading many to question if mental fitness tests should be taken by politicians.
And joining us now is internist at Custom Care Medical, Dr. Frank Contechesa. Dr. Frank, thank you so much for joining us today. Now, let's just set this up with Senator Mitch McConnell appearing to freeze again at an event in Kentucky. Before we get your reaction, let's take a look.
What are your thoughts on running for re-election in 2026?
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026?
That's
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all were
very hard to watch there. But, Doctor, can you speculate what may be happening to Senator McConnell?
Yes, and good morning, Sarah. Yeah, it is hard to watch, and it's hard to watch both as a physician and as a citizen. It's hard to watch these things happen. So to me, it looked like he either had something like a petit mal seizure or an absence seizure. It could be something like a TIA, it's a transient ischemic attack, or a mini stroke, because this is different from something like a progressive dementia that you see with President. This is something where in between these episodes, everything seems to be fine. He's lucid, he's normal. And then he has these episodes after which he seems to be okay. So there are these transient things that are going on. The campaign said that, or his staffers said that he was lightheaded. I think it didn't really look like that to me. Lightheaded people usually wobble, they get unsteady on their feet, their eyes might roll back, and they have to sit down or lay down. He's pretty steady on his feet, and then he kind of comes to. So to me, it looks more either something like an absence or a petit mal seizure, or something like a transient ischemic attack. But with TIAs, you often see a deficit, like they can slur their speech. You might see weakness. You might see drooping of the facial muscles. None of that really happens. So it's tough to say. I certainly haven't examined him. I'm just going on the observations of the video. But that's what I see going on.
President Biden appears to get lost a little bit here and there. And again, yesterday at the FEMA headquarters in Washington, same thing happened. Let's just take a quick look.
I'm going to Florida Saturday morning.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Everyone, please come this way. Right this way. Mr. Secretary, right this way. Bill, please come this way.
Okay. So, Doctor, you watch Biden. This is now becoming a little bit more frequent. Does his mental fitness concern you?
Certainly. I mean, it doesn't take a physician to see that we're looking at a progressive pattern here. And again, this is sort of different from what we described with Mitch McConnell, where he seems fine in between. And by the way, I think it's probably time for both of them to take a break and retire. And this has nothing to do with one side or the other. But what's happening with the president, we've been watching for years. So you just watch video of him from a few years ago, and we can see the progression. It's the kind of pattern that we see with a disease like dementia. And with Joe Biden, it seems to be more that his moments of lucidity are the exception. And the absent-mindedness and the losing, where do I go, what am I doing, seems to be more the rule than the exception. So I would be all in favor of a competency test above a certain age. And it's not necessarily about absolute age. The prior segment, you guys mentioned a poll where 77% of the people thought that Joe Biden's too old. I don't think we think he's too old. I think we think he's becoming demented. I've made comparisons to other older people. I think Mick Jagger is only a year younger than Joe Biden, and he's strutting around the stage like he did in the 60s.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily just about age. It's about competency. And I would be all in favor of a neurological evaluation that we should all have access to the results of.
I think many people in the public are also in favour of that, but unfortunately that has to actually get passed through the people who it's...
No, there's no question, Liz. These are leaders that are making decisions for us, right? It's a government for the people, by the people. They're our representatives. We elect them. So, yeah, I think there should be some accountability. I think the good doctor is exactly right.
Dr. Frank Contechesa, thank you both. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you both.
All right, and there's plenty more still to come on Wake Up.